Values aren't some inspirational words on a poster. They are the choices you make when things get hard. Your real values show up under pressure, in conflict, in heartbreak, in uncertainty, and in those moments when you have to decide who you're going to be next. Today, we're going to uncover the values that shape your life, that will give guidance to your Good Life project, and reveal the kind of person you're becoming, or that you want to become. Welcome back to the Good Life Lab with Dr. Dave. I'm Dr. Dave, and the Good Life Lab is a place where we experiment with and explore tools, tips, and techniques for improving our lives. And I'm in the midst of the series from Languishing Lost A Good Gay Life, helping people who are maybe feeling a little lost or uncertain about their purpose and meaning in life. I learned a lot over the years. I just turned 60, so as a therapist and coach and a college professor in this field of positive psychology, I've learned a lot that has helped me navigate some difficult times, find greater meaning and purpose, and then also help other people find greater meaning and purpose in their lives. And so I'm just sharing my kind of experience and the failures and the ups and downs and the things I've learned to hopefully help other people in this process as well. So we've just been talking about sacred anchors and core values the last couple of days. Today we move into a little bit of a different direction, talk about core values and how they guide your choices, your behavior, your relationships, and ultimately your direction and destiny. Values kind of start as core beliefs, but they aren't real or authentic unless they are lived, unless they are practiced, unless they are embodied in some way. And for the purposes of the series of moving from languishing and lost to a good gay life, core values can be reminders of what is most important to you in life. They can help you refine, focus, and reinforce your commitment to the Good Life project that we've been talking about, to finding greater meaning and purpose in life. Let me give to you some research that I'd like to provide as foundation for what I'm talking about in this area of core values. Core values can't just be ideals. They can't just be beliefs that go nowhere, that don't determine your decisions at all. They are psychological stabilizers, directional signals, and motivational fuel. Here's what the research shows. Values create psychological coherence. Clarifying what matters most strengthens identity, stabilizes mood, and increases resilience when life becomes uncertain. Values also act like an internal compass, organizing your story and giving your life a coherent direction. There's also research that suggests that living in alignment with your values leads to lower anxiety, greater well-being, and higher intrinsic motivation. These benefits come not from inspiring ideals, just ideas about how to live your life and the things that are important to you, but from integrated values. So principles you actually live by. And there's research that also shows that living your values provides greater direction and protection. So values provide protection against stress and support clear decisions, grit, and follow through under pressure, living according to your values. So identifying and living according to your values helps reduce stress. Living according to your values also is like an anchor and a map, helping shape long-term fulfillment and a meaningful life path. That's just a little bit of research to support the importance of not only identifying your values, those ideals that you have, but then living according to them. The benefit comes to your mental health and well-being when those two things are in alignment, that your beliefs, your core values that you have in mind are lived out in some way. So today isn't just about choosing nice words or ideas that look good on paper. It's about identifying the principles you already live by in many ways, or hope to, the ones that are shaping your choices, the ones that are calling your future self to live into. If you'd like the support of a community and others to help you identify your core values and to live according to them, please consider joining the group coaching waitlist that I have on my website. Please check out the link in the show notes below. I'm going to give you an example from my own life of how I identified core values and how they shaped my reality in many ways as I lived into them, as I leaned into them, and even to this day. I've mentioned this several times, this Project 46, my midlife kind of crisis, but dark time. And I began with the life list that I've mentioned here, what makes me come alive. I developed a list of at least 25 items, I think, at the time. And just my passions, interests, things I wanted to pursue. Just the practice of creating a life list has been something that's gotten me out of some dark times. So that's one thing to consider. Start a life list, kind of think of what makes you come alive and jot those ideas down. And then from that, I narrowed it down to, over time, to what I called 7 mantras. I took a look at the 25 items and what they represented in my life and crafted those into what I called mantras, 7 mantras. And then over time, those 7 mantras became 3 intentions. And those three intentions really have become these core values in my life: connection with other people, connection with something greater than myself, and connecting to a purpose in life. And so that's even become my mission. My mission is to create worlds that cultivate connection, transcendence, and reason for being for myself and for others in my life. So that's just an example of how a life list can turn into some core intentions that become core values. So that's just one example from my own life of how I've identified these core values and how I live according to those values. And so just remember that research supports this practice as well, identifying your values and living according to them. I mentioned earlier that when you live according to your values, your brain experiences greater coherence, a sense of internal alignment. Your motivation increases, your stress decreases, and you move through the world with greater ease. Values give you greater clarity when you're lost and greater courage when you're afraid. Okay, so we've come to the point of application for today. So here's a practice that can help you identify your core values and live according to them as we conclude our day 15 in the series From Languishing Lost to a Good Gay Life. It's called the 3 Buckets Values Sort. I'll provide a link below to a worksheet that you can follow if you'd like, but I'll give you essentially the steps needed to identify your core values and then choose a few that you want to focus on or live by. So the first step is to just look at a long list of values, and I've provided a list of 50 values that you can look at and refer to, and just read through them slowly and notice which ones feel familiar, meaningful, and important to you. And the next step is to sort those values into 3 buckets, into the yes, maybe, and no buckets. So the yes bucket means that it absolutely represents you. It's essential, defining, and non-negotiable. The maybe is important, but not core to who you are. So values that matter to you but aren't your deepest drivers. And the no bucket stands for not central to you at all right now. So look at the list of 50 and write down yes, maybe, or no by each word. And the third step here is to just narrow your yes bucket. If you have more than 10 in the yes bucket, I want you to walk through these steps. So move any nice but not essential values into the maybe bucket. So if it doesn't feel top priority to you, and maybe it's just nice, it's something you'd like to have, move it into the maybe bucket. You can eliminate values that feel familiar or redundant too. You can also prioritize values according to how they might be able to support your good life project. So there's one more step 4 in this process of identifying your core values. I want you to choose your top 3 values. So you've narrowed the 50 down to 10 that are kind of your core values. Now I want you to pick 3 and ask yourself this question: if I could only live by 3 values for the next 10 years, the ones that would make my future self proud, which 3 would I choose? So circle or highlight those 3 values. If you live according to these values, that you'll find greater success, be less stressed, and just feel more grounded in life. And they can also be a great way to support your good life project, even become central to your good life project. You might look at your plan for your good life project, what you're going to try to do for the next year, and see how you can integrate your values into that plan so that you are more successful and happier in the process. Well, as we conclude for today and move into day 16, which is still part of this S and sacred anchors and core values, we're going to project our core values and sacred anchors into the future, 10 years into the future, and imagine what you want your life to look like 10 years from now. I have this exercise that I've created, really integrated, maybe stolen a little bit from other people, but I call it the Remarkable Memento Mori 10-Year Good Life Quest. And I'll take you through a series of questions to help you imagine your ideal future and, again, where you'd like to end up 10 years from now. And let me just remind you one more time that if you'd like to be a part of a gay men's group coaching waitlist and experience to just walk through some of these concepts together and to find greater meaning and purpose and even create your good life project, please look for the link in the show notes below, and I hope to see you in that group. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.